She spent her days living inside a supermarket restroom. Only after the lights were turned off and the store was empty did she dare to come out. She would flip through childcare magazines, following the exercises inside to prepare for her baby's birth. When exhausted, she drank 2 bottles of milk for strength, then lay on the floor with a blanket to sleep. At 5 a.m. when the alarm went off, she carefully put everything back in its place, washed up in the restroom, and hid inside a locker facing the entrance. Once employees arrived, she would sneak outside to the park to catch the morning sun. She even kept a list of everything she had taken from the supermarket, hoping to repay them once she had money. Each evening, just before closing, she would disguise herself as a customer and slip back into the restroom. Annie had never known her father, and her mother abandoned her when she was 5. As an adult, she met William, a man 10 years her senior, and became pregnant. But William found the prospect of a child burdensome. Pretending to take her on a trip to California, he abandoned her halfway, leaving her in a shopping mall. As Annie waited outside for William, a troubled nun mistook her for her deceased daughter because of her resemblance and handed her an address. That nun soon became her only source of support. When William never returned, Annie had no choice but to spend her nights in the supermarket. The next day, she sought out the nun and often went to her home for meals. When bored, she visited the library, where she met Will, a librarian. Will was fond of her and quietly followed her from time to time. One night, when Annie went into labor inside the supermarket, she was terrified and helpless until Will appeared to help her. The next time she opened her eyes, she was in a hospital bed. Overnight, she had become a minor celebrity. Reporters sought interviews, people sent flowers, letters, and donations. Everyone sympathized with her. Her mother appeared after seeing her on television, not out of love, but drawn by the donations Annie had received. She suggested they reunite as a family with Annie and her baby. Trusting her, Annie handed over the money. The very next day, her mother abandoned her again, leaving her at the hospital door. The nun returned once more, inviting Annie to live with her. At last, Annie had a home. The supermarket later offered her a job, and she asked Will to be her daughter's godfather. Meanwhile, Annie discovered a passion for photography. She often returned to the library to study, which brought her closer to Will. But scarred by William's betrayal, she declared she did not want romance, leaving Will too hesitant to confess his feelings. 3 years later, disaster struck. A tornado ravaged the town, killing the nun and destroying both the supermarket and her home. Annie lost her job and her shelter. Then the insurance company informed her that the nun had left her $80,000 in inheritance and insurance benefits. With it, Annie built a new house. Around the same time, her photography won a major award, establishing her as a recognized photographer. Her career often took her away, so she entrusted her daughter to Will's care. When Will finally confessed his love, Annie, feeling unworthy, turned him down. Heartbroken, Will left town. Annie hoped he would find a better partner elsewhere. But after a chance encounter with William, the man who had abandoned her, she realized her heart still longed for someone who had always been by her side. She went to find Will, and at last, the two came together.